Hello, my friends, and welcome to another fabulous episode of the AI Show. My name is Seth Juarez. How's it going? We've got so many good things for you today. Let me share my screen. We can start talking about that stuff. It's like I'm forgetting how to do stuff. What's the matter with me? What is a matter with me? Here we go. My screen. Hopefully everyone's had a wonderful week. It's been like a week since we've last chatted. And you know, a lot goes on in a week. So pretty excited. I'm checking the chat. I got a new teleprompter, and so it's a little different. And so I'm like moving stuff around. I'm like, oh no, am I in the right spot? Today, we're going to be talking. Oh, let me change this over. Here we go. Okay. Today we're going to be talking about accessibility. Oh my gosh. It's okay. This is a show about advanced AI. Not a show about spelling. Accessibility with Ailsa Leen. She's fantastic. So we'll talk about that stuff. Also, I thought maybe, and this is Courtney had a really good idea. Maybe talk about some news stuff in the world of AI. News stuff in AI. Get our thought process on that. What a good idea! It's just a fabulous idea. So I thought we would do that. And as we're doing that, where's everybody coming from? Just in the chat, tell us where you're coming from. Oh, can I mute the background music? Yes, it will go mute in a second, Merdad. It's how I get excited. BGU is too loud and annoying. Well, I've got news for you. Hold on, let me push this. Here, let me put these up so you can see. This is so funny. Hey Seth, BGU is too loud and annoying. I turned it down. Thank you. Yeah, it's good feedback. If you do not like loud and annoying things, I have news. I have news for you. Winnie Krishna, and I'm also loud and annoying. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, I'm happy. It's too loud. It's too loud. Can you mute the background music? Yes. I'll turn it down. I turn it way down once the show starts. This is just to get people into the groove of things. Supposed to be new people today. Here we go. Here we go. Are you saying new stuff or news stuff? Why not both? Why not both, CJ? Music's a little loud. Yeah, I turned it down. Thank you. Sorry, it's like I get stuff in my ear a certain way. I should do a show on my setup. So I have like a soundboard. I have a soundboard where I put stuff in, and so that's why sometimes I don't hear it all the way. So that's great. Lake of the Ozarks. Welcome, my friend. That sounds. Wasn't there like a show? Wasn't there like a show in the Ozarks? Nick likes the funky music. Thank you. Austin, Texas. Welcome, my friend. So yeah, I should do a show on my setup. I have a couple of things. I just switched out my teleprompter. It's a lot smaller, but it's like the resolution's not as good as my previous one, but it's just smaller. But it is what it is. All right, so today we're going to be talking about accessibility with Ailsa. Ailsa, you ready? Thumbs up. Ailsa, you ready to come on? Yes, yes.
Ready to come on.
Thumbs up. How you doing, my friend?
Pretty good. Yeah, happy to be here on this bright Monday morning for me.
I know. Are we on the same time zone? Are we in Pacific together?
Yeah, I'm up in Vancouver, BC.
Oh, that's right. You've been on before, and I always learn a ton. So I am so glad you were on here. We recorded a little bit of this last week, so all of this stuff is new. But are you willing to stick around and answer some questions too?
Absolutely, Ailsa? Yeah. Happy to be here.
All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this queued up, and then folks get your questions ready for afterwards, because this is a fabulous, fabulous episode. All right, here we go. You're not going to want to miss this episode of the AI Show where we talk all about generative AI and accessibility with my friend Ailsa. Make sure you tune in. Hello and welcome to this episode of the AI Show where we're talking all about generative AI and accessibility with my friend Ailsa Leen. Ailsa, how you doing, my friend?
Very good. Thanks, Seth. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be back on the AI Show.
Fantastic. So tell us who you are and what you do.
So my name is Ailsa. I'm a design program manager on the Azure AI team, and I'm really fortunate because my job is focused on accessibility full time. So I spend all my time thinking about what kind of things we can do with AI for accessibility, and also how do we make sure that AI development tools are accessible for people with disabilities.
And I mean, that's awesome. We had you on a year ago. I think it was like a year ago.
Yeah.
So why don't you help us maybe get a framework, for a mental framework for what accessibility actually means? Because it's a little bit more nuanced than if I remember right.
Yeah, good point. Not too nuanced, but let's define for everyone what accessibility is. So I have a slide, Seth, if you'd like to show it. Accessibility is really about making sure everyone can equitably access the things that are important for a fulfilling life, whether that is digital products, which is mostly what I work on, but it can be things like, important government services or the built environment. It can be access to education, employment. Hopefully it goes without saying that people with disabilities have the right to access all of those things just as much as people without disabilities. And so what do I mean when I'm talking about disability, right? There's sort of there are both visible and invisible disabilities. So, many people will be familiar with the concept of vision disabilities, such as being blind or low vision, or hearing disabilities, such as being deaf or hard of hearing. But there's also like a whole gamut of other topics that get covered under the disability umbrella that might be invisible, such as being neurodivergent, or indeed having mental health conditions. Yeah, that's disability. It affects more of us than you would believe,
Yeah.
and that number is growing. We're all getting older, right, Seth?
Not you, just me. I mean, like even
I'm getting a little bit older too. And if we don't include this like large market of 1+ billion people, when we design and develop products and services, we're leaving them behind, and we're also missing out on people who might really benefit from the things we built.
yeah, and the other thing that I learned from you, if I remember right, was that the people have like permanent disability. Like I, for example, am really blind. If I don't have like contacts in, I can't see anything, and that's more of
Yeah,
a
me too.
permanent. But there's also temporary disabilities that you might have that would need accommodation. Like, for example, one time I tore something in my ankle, and I had to go around in crutches, and I needed some accessibility. So it's not there's not like disabled people and not disabled people.
Mhm.
It's really about like where you are in your stage of life and what accommodations we might need.
Yeah, that's such a good point. And the other one I would add, on the spectrum from permanent, temporary to situational, is that kind of final one on the spectrum is, an example of a situational disability could be you're in a noisy bar and so you can't hear what's on the TV, and you don't even have a temporary hearing disability, but because of the situation you're in, the noisy room, you can't hear, and you will still benefit from captions, right? And so, if you think about the market of people who are carrying something in their arms so they can't use their hands at any given moment, but they still want, conveniently to be able to open the door or something like that, right? There's just such a huge spectrum of people that accessibility impacts, and it just makes for better products.
Yeah, and I mean it's really cool. I turn captions on all the time now, which is really nice. It helps accommodate me a little bit better. So how
Mhm.
can AI help?
Yeah. Well, the thing that I'm here to talk about, or one of the things I'm really excited to talk about, Seth, is what's new in the world of AI since we last talked a year ago, and of course that's generative AI, right? And specifically tools like Copilot. Copilot is, like, I would say, our new mainstream assistive technology for everyone, right? So hopefully our viewers will know a little bit about Copilot already. Seth, would you say? Would you like to explain a little bit to us about where these Copilots show up? And
Yeah, I love the copilots are awesome. They basically, and the reason why I love the term copilot because I'm a big believer in that AI is designed to assist humanity, not replace humanity. And so copilot is really nice. And one of the copilots that I absolutely love is GitHub Copilot. I was using it today to help me write code, and sometimes writing code can be tedious because you got to take care of every situation. And GitHub Copilot really just writes stuff for me, and then I can go in there and be like, let's fix this and let's fix that. It's actually really cool, and it helps me do my job a lot faster and a lot better.
right. And one thing to think about is you're probably doing a little bit less typing of code than you used to, right, Seth? So
Correct.
maybe if you had some sort of repetitive strain injury, or you had tired wrists and arms, or maybe even a mobility disability, that's going to be saving you lots of time too.
Yeah, and like I said, I love the idea of using the copilots to help me, even in different situations where I might be tired, I need to get something done, or it's noisy, etc. But Microsoft 365 Copilot has a lot of stuff too that I've been starting to use, like in Outlook and Word, etc.
Yeah. So how about we play a little video with some of our colleagues from the Microsoft accessibility team here, talking about how Copilot benefits them with their different disabilities. I think
Let's
it's
do it.
cooler to see than to talk about.
AI has a massive opportunity to help people with disabilities like me.
I'm going to show you some of my favorite features that help improve my productivity on the daily basis.
Jeremy Curry.
And I'll just go into Copilot and say, summarize this email.
Christina Mallon.
I'm able to really use my voice through the microphone and voice access that's built into Copilot. I say, tell me the changes in accessibility for the past month.
I'm going to launch Word.
Describe what you'd like to write, including notes or an outline, and Copilot can generate a draft to help you get started.
In this case, I'm going to ask it to write about the history of computer science.
History of computer science. Generate.
A draft.
One of the things that is challenging when you have dyslexia is writing. So to help with that, I will ask Copilot to write a draft email. I'm going to ask it to still keep my tone because I want it to sound like me. And I want it to be short, asking Mary to do a pre-read of the document.
Entering a prompt.
And it's now generating a template email, which is short and sweet, which is a brilliant productivity enhancement for me.
When I think about generative AI, I think about things that I've done in my 20+ year career in accessibility that we've not been able to do before now. And some of these things are literally life-changing.
This process without Copilot usually takes an hour, but this took 3 minutes. It's important to give me the time back to work on the things that I love. And generative AI does that.
If you want to make AI more accessible and better for you, use it and provide feedback. I'm excited about the possibility that it will help bridge the disability divide.
Microsoft.
I mean, that's really cool. And I know some of those folks, awesome people that truly have a lot to give to this world, and giving these accommodations is just game changing for everybody.
Yeah, totally. There's two things I want to point out about this video and how I think it shows that copilots can really be a game changer, not just for all of us, but in particular the disability community. So the first one is efficiency, right? Like, we're all excited about efficiency. That's what you were saying with GitHub Copilot, Seth. And there's a part where Christina Mallon, our director of inclusive design, is talking about how it takes her a much longer time to draft an email or whatever it was she was doing in Word than it might take somebody who has the use of both of their arms, right? Because she has dual arm paralysis. And so, honestly, like, for people with disabilities, there's a massive gap where, because our technology is not really designed with people with disabilities in mind, it takes them longer to do things. The ability for Copilots to just help you get things done faster is going to be much more of a game changer for people who use assistive technology or have disabilities. The second part is adaptation, right? So Joanna on that video, who's dyslexic, talks about how she's able to have the AI correct any of her mistakes that she makes via dyslexia, or maybe even if she's reading complex documents, adjusting them for her reading level and needs. And that's really something that will benefit all of us, because what is Copilot but a tool that helps you adapt for your personal needs and situations? You can ask it what to do, and that's easier now because you don't have to build your own accessible assistive tools. You can just talk to Copilot, and so the ability to adapt things is more inherently accessible because all you need to do is be able to talk or type. So
Yeah, and that's the coolest thing, because I mean, like I said, that's even nice for people that may not think they need assistive technology.
Right.
The reality is we kind of all need assistive technology, whether it's a house, whether it's captions, whether it's anything really.
Yeah, I mean, our contact lenses are assistive technology, Seth, right? Like, what would we be without them? Wouldn't be able to get much done at work.
Yeah, that is true. So are people putting this kind of technology into applications?
Yeah, there's some really exciting stuff coming up. So another one that I want to talk about is some new updates to Seeing AI. So hopefully folks are familiar with Seeing AI, or if you're not, it's a mobile application primarily for people who are blind or low vision that uses computer vision to describe the world around you, right? Incredible assistive tool. And now we have access to really enhanced computer vision capabilities more than the year before, thanks to Azure GPT-4 Turbo with Vision. So I have a couple of demos of the kinds of things you can do with these rich, improved vision descriptions.
All right, so let me bring the one up. The first one's Cake Shop, right? So
Yeah,
why don't you
Cake
tell us
Shop.
what we're going to see, and then I'll play it, and I might pause it and ask some questions.
Yeah. I mean, essentially, this is a simple one. It's GPT-4 Turbo with Vision, really great, rich descriptions thanks to generative AI, describing the built environment around the Seeing AI user.
All right, let's put it up.
The image shows a storefront with 2 large glass windows and a concrete.
So is this an app where you take a picture and it just starts telling you what's in there?
Yep, exactly. And before they were a lot simpler, the descriptions, and now you can see here some of the amazing detail that you can now get from these images.
And let's hear the voice
Foreground.
too.
The left window has a reflection of trees and a car parked outside. The text Wedding Cakes is visible on this window,
This is cool.
positioned centrally and is large enough to be easily readable. The right window displays an advertisement with text and a phone number.
And so, in theory, like this AI, if you're using GPT-4 Turbo with Vision, you're just taking a picture and sending it to the model, and then it's giving you all this stuff, and then you're enhancing it with another model to make it spoken.
Yeah, and there's quite a bit of work goes in behind the scenes as well in terms of how to prompt the model for the kind of information that blind and low vision users might want, and so that's something that our Seeing AI team have been working on a lot behind the scenes as well.
This is really cool. And I remember, I think it was Saqib. I met him a while ago when he was making the Seeing AI stuff. He had like glasses or something that would tell him what was going on. Is this like an extension to that?
That's cool. That sounds very cool and experimental. And I guess we'll have to get Saqib on to learn more about what's happening with those wearables, because that sounds very exciting.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
cool. All right, so let me get the other one up here because there was another video. Why don't you tell us about that one?
Yeah. So the reason I like this next one is because it shows question and answering capability and the ability to ask. Because you could see from the first example, maybe that's more detail than anyone ever really needs to know about a picture
Yeah.
of a cake shop, right? So what's more useful than hearing all of that is being able to ask for what you are personally interested in, what you need.
I see. So let's take a look at this.
After scanning this restaurant menu in Seeing AI, what are the categories?
The categories in the document are antipasti, salads, pizza, with subcategories red and white, specials, and dessert.
What antipasti dishes are there?
There are 3 antipasti dishes mentioned in the document. 1. Oven roasted asparagus with paprika aioli, red onion.
I'm going to pause here because this is really cool because it's like a full multimodal experience where you have things that are seen, things that are typed, and then things that are heard all at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. And you couldn't do this with just computer vision, right? It needs that conversational capability. And then what makes it great on top of that is speech. So yeah, I mean, the future is multimodal, right, Seth? And that's what really makes these experiences exciting.
And it's almost like as if like you're literally talking to the menu.
Yeah.
I mean, that's literally what you're doing, right?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm really excited about this.
So are there other folks doing these kinds of things as well?
Yeah, there's a couple of other cool examples I'd like to show you. And they're both AI for Accessibility grantees. So Microsoft has an AI for Accessibility program where we offer grants and Azure credits to certain organizations working to advance accessibility. And so one really, really cool customer that we're working with is called iWill. They're based in India, and India has a huge mental health gap. I think the gap is sort of 80% of people who need mental health support aren't getting the support they need, right? That's massive. And so they're working to bridge that gap with generative AI. But they've done it in a really thoughtful and interesting way. So first off, it's a Hindi-based app. So, all of the kind of natural language conversations around mental health are in Hindi, which is a language that many people in India speak. And they are using a combination of rules-based cognitive behavioral therapy and generative AI. And so safety was really important to them, where they don't want like the ability for, users who have mental health needs to have kind of these wide-ranging conversations with with the chatbot where it could potentially put them at risk. And so there's a series of guardrails of when generative AI comes in versus rules-based CBT training, and even human in the loop if it seems like the person is in need of human-based counseling or therapy. So it's this really, well thought out kind of holistic solution around mental health. But of course, generative AI does help bring mental health to more people because there aren't enough humans to meet that gap in India. So they're doing some pretty cool stuff. They're using Azure OpenAI, and it's working great in Hindi for them as well. And they're also using Azure OpenAI Studio to bring some of that stuff together, including content safety filtering. So really, really cool use case, and I'm excited to see what they do next.
That's cool. Any others?
Yeah, one more I'd like to tell you about, and they're called Seaboard, also an AI for Accessibility grantee, and they're working on something called Alternative and Augmentative Communication, or AAC. And so what they have is a picture board app, and this is for people who might not communicate verbally, whether they have difficulty physically speaking, or if they choose not to speak or don't really communicate verbally due to other conditions such as autism. And so the founder of this product and company has ALS himself. So he uses Seaboard, which is an open source tool to communicate using eye gaze. And so he'll use eye gaze to pick from these picture boards. And, and you're picking kind of a number of nouns and verbs that add up to a sentence, but it's not necessarily like a fluid English sentence. So using Azure OpenAI, they can make that into like a much more kind of fluent sentence, instead of the words we have here, like I need to eat slow, right? It's going to turn that into a nicer sentence. And then the other part is they use Azure Neural Voices. So those really nice natural voices we've heard a little bit already in some of our demos mean that rather than speaking in a more traditional, slightly robotic sounding computer voice, now folks are able to be more expressive as well. So,
Yeah, and I
two
love
very
that.
different things there.
I love how that generated voice can also be part of like someone's identity. Like Stephen Hawking's voice is Stephen Hawking's voice, and it's just
Yeah.
amazing to hear him speak, even though it was using an older model. There was newer stuff, later
Mhm.
on, but that was part of his personality, and it's cool that you can use AI systems to like help assist you even with who you are personality
Yeah.
wise.
Yeah, it's such an interesting one. Like the more range of natural voices we have, the more people can choose something to suit their identity, right? Like younger voices, in case somebody is a child and they don't want to use an adult sounding voice, right? That's going to be important to them. So yeah, the more natural voices we have, the more expressive they are and the more of a range, then it can be useful for more people and that identity part. Because like you said, it's not just about communicating, but it's about communicating as you.
That's true. Okay, so how does one like? Let's just say someone has some really cool accessibility ideas and they want to get started with AI to do that. How does one do that?
Well, I don't know if you've heard about this before, Seth, but we do have a one-stop shop for generative AI development called Azure AI Studio. And the thing I'm happy to tell you about Azure AI Studio is we've done a lot of work as a product team to make sure that tool is accessible. Because I don't know if you've noticed, or maybe I didn't call it out, but a lot of the AI for accessibility examples we just talked about today, Seth. So Seeing AI, I Will, Seaboard, these were all created by people with lived experience in disability or the problem they were tackling, right? Seeing AI is founded by Sakib and a bunch of other people, but he's, our main guy, and he's a blind engineer himself. Same with Seaboard and the founder, Martin, who has ALS, right? Or Martine. People who have lived experience are going to create a more authentic solution for the problem they're trying to solve. And we absolutely must have AI developers and innovators with disabilities building tools, because if they don't, they're not going to solve, and we're not going to have people solving the problems that are important in this space. And so that's why when we built Azure AI Studio, we made sure it's screen reader accessible, it's keyboard accessible. We're always thinking about how we can make it more inclusive for neurodivergent developers and different people. And a picture that I have on the right is, and folks should click through the link in the notes later. Anton is a developer who's been profiled by the GitHub team, and he has cerebral palsy. He talks about how GitHub Copilot has been like essential for him in his productivity, right? And so, we need to empower folks like Anton and others so they can build the tools that they want to build to make change in the world. So that's why, it starts at the beginning. AI Studio is accessible too.
Yeah, and that's really cool. Guys, can you show us like how it works and what you can do with it?
I would love to show you. I am going to share my screen. So what you're seeing here is Azure AI Studio, and I'm in the playground view, which is where you can interact with models. The first thing I want to point out is I'm showing the screen in dark mode.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, well, thanks, Seth. So not all, if folks have used some of our other studio experiences in the past, such as Speech Studio and Vision Studio, we haven't quite had dark modes there yet, but this was something really important to us when we built Azure AI Studio for the first time as a new product, and something we also, got a lot of learnings from Azure Machine Learning, which has had a dark mode for some time. But that's really important as an accessibility tool for people with different vision disabilities. So, perhaps light sensitivity is a big one. People with certain neurodivergent conditions also prefer darker screens. And honestly, Seth, like many developers prefer dark screens of any kind, right? Because if you spend as much time looking at a computer as we do, you kind of get eye fatigue. So dark mode's good for the eyes. So inclusive feature.
That's cool.
So yeah, studio in dark mode, and I'm in the playground, and I'm going to show a couple of different things. So one is talking about an image like we saw in Seeing AI, like that's something you can explore and play with in AI Studio yourself using GPT-4 Turbo with Vision, and also speech in the playground. So imagine I'm a developer and I'm playing around the playground, and I have an image here of a chart. But maybe I'm a blind developer and I don't know what's in this image, or I'm at least testing to see what kind of capabilities our vision models have to describe this image. And maybe I also want to use speech in the playground at the same time. So I am going to turn on the microphone. What does this chart describe? Send that off. Cool. Yeah, interesting. And you can see, my speech was transcribed surprisingly well, and what was in the playground was read out to me. But I think I'm going to ask for a little bit more information because I don't know anything about what this chart is about, really. What is the most popular pet?
Well, that's debatable, but okay.
So yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I wanted to show you, Seth. Just, if you're a developer, it's kind of two things here, right? You can use these tools for your own accessibility, right? If you prefer to explore the playground with speech and hear responses, if you want to test out and you can see the accessibility benefits of talking about images. But also, if you're a developer wanting to build accessibility into your apps, these are things you can do. You can use image description. You can add speech. So this is a great way to explore what speech capabilities we have, try out different voices, play around a little bit, and think about putting voice capabilities into your own chatbots. So yeah, lots of exciting things to be done in AI Studio.
And this was just you like using the studio without really doing much. I'm sure there's a ton of APIs that you can use to call these things and put them into your applications. But that's pretty cool. So where should folks go to find out more about this stuff?
Yeah, so we have a couple of links we can share. One is going to AI Studio itself. And we also have a blog post about the work that we did to build accessibility into AI Studio. And the other thing I want to tell you about coming up for folks watching this live is the Ability Summit is next week on the 7th of March. And that's a Microsoft-wide event. It's publicly available, a free online event for the disability community, people who work in accessibility, anyone who's interested and wants to learn more and engage on the subject of disability, accessibility, and inclusion. And there's such a great range of talks. Like Seth, you and I are kind of techie. We've been talking a lot about the tech stuff and what AI can do. And there's a lot of AI in the Ability Summit that people will get to learn about. But there's also talks about, policy and, the role that policy has in advancing disability inclusion worldwide. And what are we doing in our company internally for inclusion and, the workplace. And so there's a lot more than just what tech can do, because disability is a human condition, right? So I always really appreciate that side of the discussion, because I spend so much time thinking about the tech. So it's a very well-rounded event, and there'll be a lot of great people to learn from there.
Awesome. And if you're watching this after the fact, we'll put the videos to some of the content that was presented there below, so that you can take a look at this. Well, thank you so much for being with us, my friend.
Yeah, thank you, Seth, for having me. It was a pleasure. I hope you can tell I love talking about this stuff.
This is great stuff. Thank you so much for watching. We're learning all about generative AI and accessibility with my friend Ailsa Leen. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully we'll see you next time. Take care. How about them apples? Good job, Ailsa. That was awesome. There was a couple of questions, and keep the questions in. One was from Junie. What was the app? There was two of them, right? Tell us about those apps a little bit more.
Yeah, so the first app that we showed with image descriptions and being able to ask questions about an image is Seeing AI. So that's an app available for both iOS and Android, and primarily it's for people who are blind or low vision. But if you don't have a vision disability yourself, it's also pretty cool to play around with.
Yeah, and is the first one was Seeing AI? Was the menu one Seeing
Yeah,
AI as well? Okay.
yeah, both of those capabilities are available. More
Yeah,
coming.
and sorry, keep going. Sorry.
I just said more coming soon. That's just a little tease there.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah, and I thought it was really cool how like you were able to like with the menu one was probably my favorite, because you basically were able to like talk to the menu as if it could like reveal its secrets. Because sometimes like there's some menus, I don't know, like Cheesecake Factory, it's like a whole volume of stuff. And I just want some cheesecake. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Here was another one. Tell us more about the Ability Summit.
Yeah, so the Ability Summit, as I mentioned earlier, it's a free online event happening next Thursday. So that's going to be March 7th next week. And it's just a great opportunity for a full day of learning about disability, and kind of what's new, not just with Microsoft, but with our partners and other people in the industry.
Yeah, that's cool. And I had Carol, one of our show producers, have some cool cards. Join experts, making accessibility easier to achieve. And the important thing is accessibility is something that you should have in your software, not because there's disabled people, but because there's just people. I mean, your reactions to that statement.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, it's just people, and thinking about people who have permanent disabilities, because it's the right thing to do when we design our products. We're also making the people with temporary or situational disabilities. Like we way to improve usability overall and increase the addressable market that you can tap into when you build your products and services.
Awesome. Let me take a look one more time and see if there's any more questions. Here was one that I didn't understand, but maybe you know what they're talking about. Roy also says, how can one become certified in AIC? Do you know what AICP is?
I saw that. I'm not sure what that is either, I'm afraid. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Don't know.
maybe Roy put more information there. We'd love to get your understanding of what that means. And then CJ, when he was looking, he's like, hey, the Seeing AI captures stuff that I even failed to notice, and so that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember when Sakib, who founded Seeing AI, talked about it, he kind of said the same thing there. There's, if you're a blind person, you don't necessarily know what kind of visual details other people in the world are thinking about and paying attention to, and hearing that level of detail was new to him as well. And it kind of allowed him to understand a bit more what all the visual people in the world who are engaging are on the details.
Well,
Sometimes too much
Ailsa,
detail, which is why the question answering.
yeah. Oh, CJ is a she. Oh, sorry, CJ. She. Thank you for being here. Hard to tell from your. Yeah, I thought you were an oil rig, which in Spanish is a masculine word. So sorry. Yes. Welcome, CJ. You are always welcome here. But Ailsa, any final thoughts or ideas about accessibility and how AI can help?
Yeah, kind of the main things that play around with the Azure AI Studio or SDK. Check out the Ability Summit, really great learning opportunity. And I think maybe my final thought is just don't forget to think about experiences outside of your own, right? Don't just design products for yourself.
Oh my goodness, that's so good. Well, thank you so much, my friend. And hopefully we'll have you on sooner rather than later.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Thanks, Seth.
We'll
Thanks
see
so
you
much
later,
for
Elsa.
having me.
All right, my friends. Let's talk about some news stuff. All right, let me share my screen. That was so dumb. Oh, here's one that just hit the presses today that I was seeing. Microsoft and Mistral announced a new partnership to accelerate AI innovation and introduce Mistral Large first on Azure. The AI industry is undergoing a significant transformation. Wow, this was I like this stuff. This is cool. I just want to know what it is. Partnership. Yes, everyone. I am thrilled. Mistral Large. So it looks like the Mistral Large. In November, Microsoft unveiled the integration of Mistral 7B into the Azure AI model catalog. We are excited to announce Mistral AI's flagship commercial model, Mistral Large, available first on Azure AI and the Mistral AI platform, making a noteworthy expansion. That's cool. Yeah, one of the things that's important is that we tend to get this. I work at Microsoft, so obviously I'm biased, but the Azure AI model catalog is actually quite expansive. Let's look at it. Let's take a look at it here. Let's see if I can't. And also, here's Junior. I'm not able to register in AI Studio. It's asked me to have a company. Yeah, so we generally that's for the reason why we do that is because of fraud. You have, and I know, Junie, you're not doing fraud. I 100% agree that you're not doing fraud. So look at this. There's a new managed previews thing, so you can totally get into that. And Mistral Large is now available. It is in the model catalog as we speak. I'm loading it up. Maybe that's why it's taking a little bit longer, because it's the large model. Mistral. There it is. Task chat completion, specialized in rack. This is cool. And then you can looks like you can deploy the Pago model right here. That's cool. I'm gonna see if I can't. They let me play with it a little bit. Because the reality is that all models are different, right? They're like some are better at some things than other things, and it's like really just trying stuff out. Look at that. That is amazing. Oh, Courtney's telling me, Courtney is our wonderful marketing partner. She's telling me we have an upcoming episode on Mistral. Hold on. Upcoming episode on Mistral. I think I'm saying it right. Obviously, since it's a large model, we're going to have to use our strong internet. So let me start getting that internet ready here. When we do that episode, I'm just going to pre-connect so that we're ready for the Mistral model. Okay, we're connected now to the strong internet for that episode. Hopefully coming up, and this is cool because then once you deploy this thing, I'm not going to try deploying. I don't know how long it's going to take. You could probably use that model inside of your stuff. So that's news number one. By the way, this is me. Wow, this is so much snappier. Like our product is just getting like we're currently in preview, and so this is AI Studio, and I could just totally use like a Mistral. Oh, look at that! Look, this is new, huh? Oh wow, this is cool. Yeah, I love going into the products when they're in preview because they add stuff and change stuff, and so it's pretty cool. Let's see what else we got. Okay, so the other news is Telefonica partners with Microsoft to incorporate generative AI into kernel. That sounds fancy. Let's see if we can't cut through and see if we can find what the tech is that they're doing. Open gateway, the GSMA let. I wish I knew more about how this stuff worked. Looks like here we go. Telefonica today integrate Azure AI Studio into Telefonica Kernel 2. Oh wow. So they basically made it so that kernel, whatever Telefonica kernel is, can now have generative AI stuff in there. That's amazing. That's the other news. And then let's see here. Envision. There's something called the Microsoft AI Tour, by the way, that I want folks to know about that I'm going to be at. The next stop that I'm going to be at is in Paris, France. So if you are from Paris, France at all, I will be there March 13th. That's the one. I'll be there March 13th to talk to folks. And so if you want to meet up or talk about AI, I would love to do that. And I'm also going to be in Berlin on March 19th. I think I'm just going to take a train over there or something. I was able to stop in London, in San Francisco, New York, and I was also in Bengaluru the other week. I may go to the one in South Korea, but I don't know. They usually tell me like a couple of days before or a week or so before. It's really cool because we are going to be showing off. Let me show you. GitHub.com. We are going to be showing off this thing. So this is an end-to-end LLM app development with Azure AI Studio and Prompt Flow. Take a look if you want to get the actual the deets. You can totally get that here. Go to github.com/Azure samples. Hold on, I feel like I need to sell it a little bit more. So let's see here. Go now to github.com/Azure samples. Contoso chat to build your prompt flow today. There you go. Okay, that feels better. And so you can totally download that. If you want to see what that looks like, let me open it up here because it actually is really. Here it is. Contoso chat. Here it is in my stuff. There you go. And so all of this prompt flow stuff that you're seeing, you can actually run locally, which is really cool. And so just go to Azure. GitHub.com, Azure samples, Contoso chat. You can totally play around with all this stuff. And so if I'm giving a talk or I'm doing a workshop, it's from this repo, and you can see the whole flow here, which is really cool. Oh wow, I can see they've updated some stuff. So here's the flow, the question embedding, right? You can see the inputs and the outputs. Yeah, this is just so nice. That's one of my favorite things about about prompt flow is the ability to see like the inputs, the outputs. You can actually like take a look at like if an LLM talks, here's a chat completion, right? Here's the input. You can see the output right here, which is really cool. So yeah, that's that. Okay. And with that, I think I'm going to start with my walk-off music to get you going. But if you want to download this, it's all just available there. Oh, my GitHub Copilot is there. The keynotes are really fun. The sessions are really cool. And so if you are able to go to any of those, do let me know. I'd love to meet you in person. But here's the stops again. The ones coming up is Paris, Berlin, and then South Korea are the last 3 stops that we're going to be doing. Wow, I can't believe it's already last 3 stops. There's a bunch of regional events too, as well. So make sure if you can go to it. Yeah. And then there's going to be more events. I think Microsoft Build is going to be coming up sometime soon. I don't know. They haven't told me. They don't tell me. They're already starting to do all the work for getting the sessions together. But you can see all these events are there. We're going to be talking about a lot of Azure AI Studio stuff. We should do a next half hour. I'd love to take input on what you want me to show. I'm basically good at generative AI and folding paper. That's it, really. That's all I got. But you get to build stuff like this, which is really cool. This here is here. Let's see if I can show you. Contoso. This thing here. Let me move my face so you can see the chat. Let's see if it works. Tell me about your jacket. Control Shift I. Yes, it still works. So notice I'm logged in as Sarah Lee. That's why it looks like that. So obviously I'm Sarah Lee. It's so nice because like it's like super personalized, and this thing is not that hard to build. It's literally this thing right here. You can it's still starting. You can also do this locally. You can see it's like really not that hard to build. Here's the output. Hi, Jane Doe. I'm happy to help. Blop, 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 blop. Let's go here to LLM response. Here's the output. Hi, Jane Doe. I'm happy to give you an answer. What can you tell me about your jacket? Let's run it. Let's see if we can run it. What can you tell me about your jackets? Here we go. User agent. Oh, it's broken. Oh, no. Looks like I may have a problem with my connection. Wah, wah. I'll fix it. But I think it works on this one. I think it's still starting here. That's the only thing. Like, I have to start like a VM, and that's why I like running it locally. But you have options. Like, you can do both when it does it. But this prompt flow looks like I ran it before, and I think you can see. Oh, it's still starting. Oh, bummer. But that's the AI Studio. AI Studio is cool because, like I said, it has a bunch of stuff that you can do, from exploring the model catalog with some new models, building stuff, which is what I was doing, and then managing your AI hub. And by the way, I'm filtering on just mine. There's so many others that we do. Oh, look at that. This is new. Looks like we can manage our quota, which is really cool. All right. And with that, my friends, let me tell you what we're doing next time. Next time on the AI show, we have... Oh, this is going to be a good one. We have building custom Copilot with Azure AI Studio, CLI and SDK code first approach. And so make sure you come for that one. Leah is absolutely amazing. So make sure you stay for that one. Pretty excited about that. Thank you so much for spending some time with us here on the AI show. I know you have other things you can do, and so I appreciate your time. Make sure to subscribe to this channel to get all the new stuff. We put videos on there periodically, not just the live show. Hopefully things that you like. And if you like and subscribe, we'll be able to tell you when new things are coming out. So make sure you continue to tune in on this, the AI show. Thanks you so much for watching, and hopefully We'll see you next time. Take care.